What up, y'all? It's your host with the most that stay fly from coast to coast, the host of the Two Fly Podcast. And I had a lot of people coming my way asking me, Tommy, how did you get your podcast out to the world like that? You know, your podcast is featured on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Podcaster, the list goes on and on. And people want to know, how did I get out there like that with my podcast show? Well, here's the answer, people. Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is where you need to go for all your hosting podcast needs. It's your whole site to get all your shows out there to the world like I get my shows out to the world. Buzzsprout is definitely the way to go, people. They're here for you. They're here for me. There's a link in the description below. You get a discount and all, man. So what you waiting on? Why you still listening to me? Go start your own podcast and make sure to show love back to your boy Tommy.
Rapid fire entertainment.
You are now tuned in to the Two Fly Podcast with your host, Tommy Two Fly, fueling independent creativity and broadcasting without boundaries. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Two Fly Podcast. Yeah, I'm your host with the most that stay fly from coast to coast, and today we're gonna be diving into something every indie artist needs, man. Building your own home studio, but not just building up your own home studio. Let's talk about how you can do it on a budget. But a quick recap from the last podcast, if you haven't heard it. Shout out to my homeboy Charles Alexander and the podcast episode Charles Alexander Expose. Well, we discussed his artwork, his talent, his live, what made him focus on doing art. But make sure y'all go back and check out that previous episode from the 2-5 podcast. But now we're going to dive into this, man. I got asked this question a lot. How to set up your own home studio. So that's today's topic, ladies and gentlemen. I also even put together a free, listen to the word free, PDF guide that helps break down the equipment, the pricings, and also links. So you make sure you grab it by signing up with your email, and it will be linked in the description below this episode to get your free PDF guide on the breakdown and pricing of equipment following this show. Because we're going to give you the nitty gritty, and then you can get the PDF file. You can download that. If you know whatever you forgot about in this episode, it'll help you guide as well, and it gives you different tips and tricks to help you out along the journey. Now, here's what I plan on covering today. Just a quick list. Like I said, home studio set up on a budget, right? So this episode is going to cover a quick list, any mistakes made towards like setting up your home studio, but basically a budget versus dream gear, you know, and how to maximize your space and how to, you know, seek out free tools to help you on your journey of setting up your own home studio. So I'm going to give y'all a little quick background story, right? This is how this started. Of course, I had to learn my way of setting up a home studio myself, and it's definitely costly as an artist. If you want that quality, and that quality, and your only bet is going into a studio, that can take a toll on the pockets, ladies and gentlemen. It can be very costly. You can range from $50 to $60 to even $100 an hour just to get into a studio. And we talking 1 hour. So imagine if you're getting multiple hours. And the cool thing about that, though, it made me a perfectionist. So if I had to pay to go into the studio, my method is I would train myself, practice my verses, practice on how I'm gonna hit my lines, and make sure when I get to the studio, when I get into the studio, it's gonna take me about 35 to 40 minutes to record a whole song. I can be done, sometimes even quicker than that. I can get done with a whole song within 30 to 40 minutes. I trained myself for that because I was trying to save on money. So basically a 2-hour session for me is 2 to 3 songs. But that's kind of without mixing. At least your engineer is pretty good at mixing as you go to make the song. But in the long run, it's going to cost you a lot. So this is what this episode is seeking at, ladies and gentlemen. If you're an artist, indie artist, beat maker, producer, and you're looking for a way to capitalize on setting up your own home studio, you have found the right place. Your boy Tommy Too Fly is going to take you on this mission. But I just wanted to kind of give y'all a background example of how much it costs to go into the studio and create things. And certain people, I can't see where certain artists pay $100 an hour and go in there and it can't even complete the song. That's blasphemy to me. Can't see how they do it, man. Let's see. The first topic I want to talk about when it comes to home studio. Let's talk about the common mistakes that artists make when they first setting up a studio for the first time. Now, fancy terms get thrown around, and you see people, you see your favorite rapper, favorite celebrity, or whatever, and they're in the studio, and you hear these terms like Pro Tools, and maybe the best condenser mic, the best headphones, the top of the line, you know what I mean? You hear all this stuff. So you want to start out trying to get these things. Now, if you have the money for it, and go for it, you know what I mean? If it's not hurting your pockets, if it's not hurting anything in your budget, if it's not hurting your livelihood, then yeah, definitely you can purchase the top of the line things. But I come from another side of the railroad tracks, ladies and gentlemen, where $200, $300 is gonna kill me. So I had to get things piece by piece by piece. So don't get all amped out over the popular brands of studio equipment and what all the high artists is using these days for us recording they sales and what they have in their studios. Because in fact, probably pretty much they probably could afford it. But you know what I'm saying? Don't fall for the hype, you know what I mean? Sometimes studio equipment can be, as long as you get something decent that does the job, you could pretty much almost come out with a similar effect of just paying for the high dollar things. So a lot of artists love to make that mistake when they first start out. They go for the wrong gear, man. They end up overspending on the wrong things starting out. And that's a bad move. That's a real bad move. Because I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I know from experience, it only takes the basics. By the time you finish hearing this podcast today, you're going to realize you could probably get yourself in the game started with the basics for a home studio setup between $150 to $300 to $500 to get you in the game. And I'm not saying that, you drop the whole $300 at one time. You drop the whole $500 at one time. No, you get the pieces and you work it out. If it's going to take you, hey, I can spend $100 this month, I can get this part. You know what I'm saying? I can spend another $200 next month, and I can get this. That's what it's going to take until you get all the basic components. And then once you get those basic components, you start training yourself on how to use the stuff. That's a whole nother aspect of doing it as well. So you get this, you go out and you grab the most expensive microphone you have, and you're not even familiar with a mic. You never had a special type of microphone. It's a learning curve. if you go out and get the expensive programs like Pro Tools and you never use Pro Tools, you don't understand what Pro Tools is. Guess what? It's a learning curve. You have to learn how to use that. So you go out and you spend $600 on Pro Tools, and now you can't even record yourself. See what I'm saying? It's free stuff out there as well that you could train yourself on. And so my method to this is don't overspend doing that, man. Don't save your money. Get the basics. Learn how to use the basics. Once you master the basics, then slowly upgrade in that section that you learned. You know, you got a decent sounding microphone. You know how to set it up. You hear the quality in it, and you understand the quality in that basic mic you have. And then you move up to the ARs and all the top quality because you already got experience using a condensed microphone. You know how it sounds. You know what you want from that basic microphone. So when you upgrade, you know the upgrade is going to be even better because you already know how to use the basics. You know? Another thing artists like to do is ignoring the room space, the acoustics. You gotta understand if you're setting up a home studio, you gotta barricade sound. You know, you can't have air coming in from the back of the microphone. You can't have this wide open room space. It's gonna sound spaced out. It's gonna sound crazy to you. The room acoustics is important, ladies and gentlemen. So you gotta make sure you plan that out. You gotta test it. You know, if you got a little space, then you gotta figure that out. And no need for you to go out here and buy the soundproof panels and buy soundproof booth, all of that. If you ain't got the money for it, you know, do the poor man thing. For example, I use blankets, carpets, thick blankets. You know what I'm saying? I surround my microphone with thick blankets. Set up like a curtain, kind of, you know, from the back of it. Also, smaller rooms are good for sounds to bounce. But you make sure you test your room out too. You know, don't go ahead and spend the thing. You just need, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you just need the basics. A carpet under your microphone stand means a whole lot. You find a nice little carpet to put under your microphone stand. If you have a microphone stand, put a little carpet under. You know, that helps with the acoustics. So don't be going out here buying expensive panels and soundproof things. At least, like I said, you can afford it. It's in the budget, yeah. Or get a piece here and there and use that with whatever else you got. You got one sound piece panel, put it in a great space, surrounded by blankets. I'm telling you, blankets work. You gotta do to save money. But and then you gotta think about your workflow once you get everything going. So like I said, you buy fancy gear you don't know how to use, you have to learn it. And it might, now you got the studio set up and you know how to use your own studio, which really sometimes it could deter you. You bought this and you trying to get it to work and you don't know what you're doing. You might have to call someone to actually come record you at your own spot. Know what I'm saying? I made these mistakes myself, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why I'm stating this to you. Like, everything I'm telling you, like, I've been through it. You know? Like, I wanted to get Pro Tools when I first wanted to have my own studio. First thing I wanted was Pro Tools. So why? The studios that I've been to, they was using Pro Tools. I was like, oh, I got to do that. If they can make me sound like that, I can make me sound like that. I want Pro Tools. Found out that Pro Tools cost about $1,000 to $800, $500. They got different versions and variations of Pro Tools. So I ended up getting a cheap variation of Pro Tools just to see, and it didn't cost me an arm and a leg. It came with the equipment that I bought, and it has like a free term of use with like a downgraded version of Pro Tools. Started using it, right? Couldn't use it, couldn't mix, didn't understand nothing of it. It didn't look normal to me. It looked chaotic, and I know certain engineers would tell you, like, once you touch one DOS, you're pretty much good on all of them, but not me. I was totally confused of what all the buttons do. The only thing I had going for me when I saw the Pro Tools was I know how to record it myself. Mixing? Oh no, couldn't mix not a lick. I couldn't even know how to save the verse. Like after I recorded myself, I didn't know how to save it and go back and record over to add ad libs. Because the way Pro Tools was set up to me, it looked alien. It looked like alien language. And once I ran into that problem, I didn't want to record myself no more. So I ended up spending money back at the studio. You know? It's not good. Look, y'all. I'm not saying that you get Pro Tools and you might not understand it. I'm just saying I wanted the best thing ever at the time, and I didn't have the money for it. So I settled for a cheap version of it, not with all the bells and whistles, just the basic setup of Pro Tools. And my plan was to train myself to get better at using that version so I can do the upgrade. But like I said, Pro Tools was so hard for me, I couldn't understand nothing of it. So I'm glad I almost went all in to try to get look, it's so bad, us is, I'm black, so black people, we tend to wait on tax time to try to buy things and upgrade our life because we don't get chunks of money like that during the regular life. We work a 9 to 5. Most of us, I'm not saying all of us, but most of us struggle a lot with finances and trying to maintain everything. But the whole world is going through that right now. Definitely the whole world is going through that right now. But I'm just saying, coming where I'm from, country life, South Carolina, working minimum wage jobs. Tax time was like, I can go out and finally get this. I can go out and finally earn this, pay for this. So I was planning like, hey, tax time come, I'm getting that new Pro Tools. I'm upgrading the Pro Tools. But being that I got that interface that had the demo version of Pro Tools, so to speak, that I saved myself even less money. I mean, I spent a good grip on getting that. But once I realized, like, oh no, I'm not going to use this. Just scratch Pro Tools off the list. But the key is don't chase gear. Don't chase studio equipment. Chase the knowledge and consistency. And with that being said, I'm gonna let y'all hear an early version of a song that I was trying to use Pro Tools to mix my song, and it is so awful. And I swear for Lord, I don't want to even let y'all hear this, but I'm gonna give y'all like a little minute snippet of how my music used to sound before I had to learn how to mix my own stuff. And this is me trying to use Pro Tools and make it sound like it's the most best thing ever. And it wasn't. It was horrible. But let's dive into that, right? I'm gonna let y'all hear the worst mix I think I ever did in my whole life. And this is just me getting started trying to learn, all right? All right. Hold on, y'all. Let's get into that.
Calling all indie artists, the world is waiting to hear you on Rapid Fire Radio. Rapid Fire Radio. Send your sound today. Rapid Fire Radio. We'll help you find your way. Got a song, let it shine. On the air, it's your time. From the heart, let it flow. On Rapid Fire Radio. Rapid Fire Radio. Send your sound today. Rapid Fire Radio, where the indie artists play. Rapid Fire Radio, where indie meets the airwaves.
Excuse me, Tommy, but you have exactly 10 seconds before you go on. You ready?
Hold up, where's my shades? Looking like a model when I step on the stage. 1, 2 step when I step in the place. Better let your girl know that it ain't safe. Walk up to her, invade her space. All in the groove, she be working her waist. Got her in the mood, you can tell by the face. She loves my smile, so just in case, wink my eyes, girl, you fly. Like a businessman, I got my suit and tie. Pursue, seduce, vodka, juice. Just let it go, baby, let it loose. Up in the club with girl, just let it loose. Man don't know what to do, let them loose. Party real hard, drink a few, let it loose. Make it do what it do, let it loose. What you waiting on? Get your party on. When you hear the song, what it do? What you waiting on? Get your party on. When you hear the song, let it do.
See what I mean, ladies and gentlemen? Did you hear that? Did you hear that horrible mix? Yeah, that's me rushing out to try to be an expert too fast. And that money I spent on that Pro Tools version, honestly, I could have got a better DOS than the one I had at the time, other than messing with the Pro Tools. But let's get back on topic. Let's talk about budget versus the dream gear, okay? Now, let me break down the essentials versus the dream setup. Basically, what you need for a home studio, for the basics. Are you listening? This is what you need. Must have gear for the basics. You need a microphone, you need an interface, and you need some headphones. And the heartbeat of everything is a DOS, digital workstation, you know? Now, out of these two things, I'm gonna put most important is the DOS, next is the interface, and next is the microphone, and then last but least, the headphones. Should be in that order. And later on down the line, once you get those four things, that's the basic core of the home studio right there. But you can add on monitors, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, monitors, a mini controller, and a vocal booth. Those are like next. Those are the add-ons, pretty much. Think of it like building blocks, you know? You start with what you need, and you add as you go and you grow. Now, if you're on a budget, put your money into the microphone and the interface first, because that's the foundation. Now, within this, of course, you're gonna need a computer, or laptop. Hell, you can even use a tablet. I wouldn't advise a tablet because you need a lot of memory, but still, if the tablet's the cheapest route and you gonna have it right now, go for it. You can use it. You can still use it the same way, you know. But like I said, microphone and interface and the DOS. So the interface is, let's see, I would say the interface is like maybe like the lungs. I'm gonna use like body parts. I would call the interface the lungs of the home studio. It's where the breathing goes in. It's where the sound goes to enhance, you know? And the microphone are probably like the limbs of the body, you know, the arms, the legs. The reason, because, you know, when you speak into the microphone, it picks up your audio and it goes in. Instead of having that microphone go directly into whatever, like your computer, you run it through the interface. The interface helps with the sound to create that quality, that clarity. So, yes, interface is very important, ladies and gentlemen. And I found out that was like the missing piece I had for so long that I was missing. And then, you know, you have your DAWs. That is where that's where the song comes together at. It's like the heartbeat. It works everything. That's where you do the mixing. You know, that's where you do the mastering. That's where you take that sound from the interface and run it through that, the DAWs. You need these, and the headphones are to help, you know, monitor the sound control with, you know, you spitting, singing. If you're singing into the mic, if you're spitting, if you're rapping into the mic, The headphones help with the sounds. So get your blankets and headphones. It's a great thing to have, man. It's a great thing to have. So make sure you focus in on that, man. And a good interface. It doesn't have to be, like I said, you don't go for the top. You go for whatever's nice and straight and quality. It's the basics. Now, I use the Scarlett 2.2. And through that one, I can run 2 microphones. The type of microphone I use is a condenser mic, but it came with my Scarlett. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they have bundles. So you can buy the interface with the microphone already in it, already included. You know? And some of those also come with free interface, free DAWs, free workstations. Like, you know, that's the Scarlett that I got came with the low version of Pro Tools, which they give you 1 month free with it, and then it was like $16 or $20 a month to keep the low rate version of Pro Tools. Like, it doesn't do everything Pro Tools does, but it does half of what Pro Tools does, and that's the one I was using that came with my Scarlett. But like I say, I couldn't understand Pro Tools, so yeah, I let that go. I didn't even want that no more. But there are bundles that you can get with all of this in one, and you pay roughly $250 to $300. And guess what? You're in the game. You're ready to go. You're ready to start rolling. Because all you need after that is a software to record it. And may I suggest, if you don't have the money to get any kind of software you want, Audacity. Yeah, it's free. You can start on that. Even though it's a free program, if you get a nice interface and a nice condenser mic, you will still get pretty decent quality, where you don't have to be paying that money to the big studio. Now, if you like someone like me, here's the method. Here's the method, ladies and gentlemen. You're learning how to do everything on your own. You're learning how to be your own engineer, and you record yourself. You learn how to mix yourself and all of this. Once you record that song, right? Let's say you get a decent quality version of the song you're trying to make. It's not gonna be like boom radio all-star level, but it's good enough for people to hear and be like, yeah, I like it, bob my head to it, to play in your car. Let's say we at a decent level right there, where it's not radio, but it's damn near good quality, and people respect the sound enough to say, oh, okay, this sounds good. Sounds really good. And let's say you record a song yourself, and all of a sudden, people like this song. You realize, oh, now you got people talking about this little song. People want to know more about this song. You start sharing it with your friends, your family. Your family started sharing this little song. Now you realize, hey, a lot of people love this song. Guess what? You can invest that money into the studio now to make a top quality radio version. That's another aspect of the home studio that comes into mind. Like, if you're at this level and this song is generating a buzz and it's pretty hot to you, and your family's loving it. And a lot of people is a fan of the song, and then you can invest into the studio to record that one song. And guess what? You already know the song. You already hear. You know kind of what you want in the song. When you go do it in the studio, it's gonna be a quick process. Bam! You probably just need 1 hour in there. But you want to pay extra for the mixing and the quality and then get it mastered. But you're in the game, and that's where home studio comes in for the benefit. It's a good thing to talk about. Now, at this time, I want to show y'all my growth of me learning how to use the DAWs myself. And my choice I used to use Adobe Audition. Reason I use Adobe Audition, because it was this little thing that my homeboy used to have. I can't remember the name of it, but the setup is so, Adobe Audition setup is so similar to that one. and it makes it easy for me to understand what I was doing. I started using Adobe Audition, and I was pretty decent on Adobe Audition. I got better, really. But then I became a Mac owner, a Mac user. Apple. Love these products. Now, I'm not saying I'm a baller or nothing. You know, I went to college and they gave you a free MacBook, so to speak, for me going to this college. And it came with all kind of programs on it because I went to school for music business. So you know they had music related software programs already installed in this computer. But not to mention that when you get a Mac, you get this free thing called GarageBand. Now, you might not hear top engineers speak about GarageBand, but I love GarageBand. I have became pretty good at using GarageBand. And the next level after GarageBand is Logic, Pro Logic. That's if GarageBand is like a baby version, Pro Logic is the adult version of that software. And I'm at the point now with GarageBand that I know how to mix myself, I know how to make myself sound, I know how to preset my stuff, I know how to create a bus, all of this stuff. I can take that knowledge and go to Logic. But Logic costs not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. Logic is like $200 or $250 just to get it. And then the updates randomly come. So once you pay it, you pay one time for it. But that's the next step in my evolution. But I want y'all to hear a song that I did that now that I'm seasoning as an engineer right now. I'm not saying I'm top dollar, but I can pretty much mix my own stuff pretty good. I'm pretty good enough quality, so to speak. So I'm gonna let y'all peep a little minute of that, all right? All right.
As we proceed to give you what you need, it's your boy, the real Jack. It's a took time away from all of this craving for that hip-hop realness. My son can't save you. Time to kill. Tell me to apply the definition of real. Kingdom, my castle. Check out my fortress. Oversee everything gorgeous. Got them hitters like, why he recording this? Do it for my fan base, true to my audience.
As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I got better, and that's me grinding over 13 years learning how to use the DAWs that I choose, GarageBand and Adobe Audition. That's over 13 years of me just training myself, man. So it takes some time, you know what I mean? So listen, the next thing I want to talk about is maximizing your space. So when you're setting up your home studio, like we talked about earlier, you gotta maximize your space. You gotta make the most of your space, man, even if it's just a bedroom or a closet. Like I said earlier, simple fixes could be rugs, curtains, bookcase, natural diffusers, man. Do-it-yourself sound treatment. Moving blankets, foam, panels, everything on a budget. You know, remember, it's not about having the biggest studio. It's about getting the best sound out of the space you have. Say it one more time for the people in the back. It's not about having the biggest studio. It's about getting the best sound out of the space you have. Creativity beats equipment every time, y'all. And I'm telling you, this podcast wouldn't be happening if I didn't utilize a budget. This working and learning on a budget have took me to the level of me creating a podcast. If that's not faith, then something's wrong. That's not showing the benefits of having your own home studio, then I don't want to be confused with nothing else, you know? Yeah. So down in the description below, also, there will be a list of free resources and tools. So let's be real. Free resources are like lifesavers when you're just starting out. Like I told you, the DAWs again, digital audio workstation. Audacity and Cakewalk, these are free. You can download them and start, trying to learn how to mix and record yourself. Some free plugins. Let's see, we got Spitfire Labs, TDR, Nova EQ. These are like, again, plugins with certain DAWs will work, so it can enhance, like, let's say if you want to do a reverb, you can get different sounding reverbs by using plugins. You can get a whole different sound. And free sample plugins, just add on to it, man. You can definitely utilize that. There are free sample packs for beat makers and producers out there. Loop Cloud is one of them. You can also use these to learn and craft before you drop serious money. I'm telling you, that's the way to go about it. And to give you guys an estimate cost of getting started with a low budget studio, like I said, it's probably going to run you, the lowest I would say, probably 200. 300 to get you decent, and 500 will pretty much put you in the playing field of everything you ever could use for your own home studio. Also, if you're looking to get your music out there on all your streaming sites, your Apple Music, Spotify, all these streaming sites, I have a discount code because I use DistroKid. So the link will also be in the description. You can utilize that. They'll be there for you. Also, want to give a shout out to Rapid Fire Radio. I know you guys hear me mention it on a couple of these episodes. It is definitely in the works. It is definitely coming. Get ready to submit your songs. The link will not be posted on this show, but it's coming where you guys can post the link and submit your songs to me, man. Let's get Rapid Fire Radio popping. Now, not to mention, with the home studio setup, AI is also playing into this space, in this field. Now, I'm not against AI. I used to be, but I'm not against AI. You want to know why? Creative people, when they use AI, creative people know how to use AI to their advantage. So what I mean by that, so let's say with me being over these years using GarageBand, right? I'm using GarageBand to learn how to mix my music, to make it sound the way I want to sound, to add reverbs, to add echoes, to add delays, let's see, just all types of making your verse sound heavier or making it sound airy, all these things I have learned using GarageBand, right? Let's take, for example, AI Suno, right? Suno AI. Average person who's used Suno AI that doesn't create music, that never does it before, boom, you type in your prompt, you got your song, right? Yeah, that's how that works. Now, picture someone like me who has been in the trenches learning how to mix, learning different things about music, learning different cues, learning when to put an echo, how to put a delay. Picture me using an AI program like Suno and putting that information in a way that you probably create a song off this saying, I want a song about love, and I want the song to be happy. That's an example of an average person putting a prompt in Suno. Me, let's say, same prompt, right? I want a song about love, but I want the love to be defined. I want them to have a relationship that started from scratch. Like, I add in critical details And the lyrics, I pretty much probably will write myself. And when I write the lyrics, I'm going to put different things like, hey, I want an ad lib to come in here. I want a beat break to come right here. You see the difference? That because I learned all of that using my home studio prior to that. So I just wanted to mention that in this episode about AI. Maybe we can do a whole topic on that if y'all like. Y'all let me know. Also, I have a little fan membership thing under the link under the podcast description. Man, if you're a fan, hit me up, man. I like to conversate with people. If you enjoy the show, if you want to make a quick donation, it's there. The button's there, the fan button. Let's have a convo. Let's chat it up, you know? And I hope this episode, I hope y'all feeling it. For real. All right. Yeah, y'all wanted to know about the things you need, the budget, right? Like I said, you probably gonna end up spending to get started. I'm giving you a good estimate. $200 to $300 to $500. That's all you need, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, it's gonna be it's healthy to know. $150 will probably get you where you need to get off. Like you need a good condenser mic. Boom. Probably gonna run you out 100. You might, once you get the condenser mic, you're gonna need an interface. All right, you got interfaces out there. You can get roughly between $80 to $150. You spend the or 100 on the high side, so that's two right there. And then you got your mic, you got your interface, and then what's next here? Mic, interface. That's the bass, that's the heartbeat, right? And then you make sure you got your computer and your DAWs, your digital audio workstation. And some DAWs are free, depending on the computer you have. You know, you get those. You need those. That's the core. Then you can, like I said, then you can move on to speakers or monitors. The headphones. Headphones probably gonna run you about 50 to 60 decent for studio headphones. Make sure it's studio headphones. It gotta be studio quality headphones for you mixing and recording yourself. If you're doing vocal recording, you know. If you're like a beat maker and you're gonna need mics for your drums, for your trumpets, for your instruments. If you're doing it like that, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive. But like I said, if you're here listening just for the basics, like you need a microphone, you want to sing, you want to rap, you want to add in your MIDI controller, chop it up, then this podcast show is for you, definitely. Okay? Quick recap. Let's see, we covered the mistakes to avoid, the gear you need to buy first, how to get the most out of your space, and free resources to get you going. So please don't forget to grab the PDL free guide on home studio on a budget. Like I said, it'll be in the description below. It's free. All you need to do is add your email and you'll get a free copy of that. And it'll break down everything I talked about, and it also have pricing in there. I also will share an Amazon link for the bundle packet. That's where you can get the interface, the microphone, and the headsets all in one bundle. And I believe they run between $250 $300. That's kind of like everything you need right there. All you need is your computer, and you need to find your digital audio workstation or DAWs. Make sure you got that. And you set, baby. See, Tommy got your back. And I just need y'all to help me share this episode with another artist who's trying to get their stuff set up and record at their studio. If they're trying to do one and they're trying to make music, man, share this episode with them. Let them know that Tommy Too Fly got their back. And this is what you need to set up your own home studio, ladies and gentlemen. This is it right here. I appreciate everybody tuning in to another episode of the 2-5 Podcast. I appreciate all of y'all, man. And like I say, hit the fan button up. Hit me up. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Give me some suggestions about what y'all want to hear me talk about on the next episodes. Like, we can get that popping. And let me know how y'all felt about Charles Alexander too. The man got some great artwork, so please go back and check out that episode too. You know what I mean? Again, thank you for tuning in to the Two Fly Podcast. And I'll see y'all on the next episode. Until then, holla back at your boy Tom. And we go.
Yo, hip-hop fans, are you ready for that real 90s style vibe with a fresh new twist? Introducing Tommy Two Fly, the indie artist bringing back raw bars, dope hooks, and storytelling that hits deep. A true hip-hop believer. Real music, real stories, straight from the heart. Y'all ready? Let's go. Whether you love that classic boom-bap flow or southern hip-hop soul, Tommy Two Fly delivers every time. His beats slap, his lyrics hit, and his energy is unmatched. The combination of the down-south accent with the up-north flow. Stream now on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and more. Follow Tommy Two Fly on all his social media. Don't wait till later. Tap in now and catch these bars. Tommy Two Fly. The future of hip-hop is here. It's a reason for him to be fly by design. Two Fly season is among us.